My guest today is Chelsea Jones. Chelsea is the director of programs at the Reeb Center. The Reeb Center is this hub on the South Side that really works as a comprehensive support for the community. One of the reasons I was really interested to chat with the folks at the Reeb Center is because definitionally what they do is in the essence of community. In this episode, we talk about everything from the issues facing Columbus to the work they do on a daily and that sense of community that they're cultivating with their work. All that and more on this chronicle of the Columbus Chronicle. You mentioned it's only 10 years old this year. So, yeah, so still really young, but has clearly made an impact based on everything I've seen. I think that's kind of where I want to start is maybe with the foundation of the Reeb Center. Like, go back to 10 years ago. What does that look like?
Well, I wasn't there, obviously, but the stories that I've heard, um, essentially, like Reeb was meant to be. Like that's what it's sold as. So the settlement house on the south side closed down, and there was this big gap in services. Right, like people didn't have like a community space to just be themselves, get resources, get food, kids to hang out. So Crane family, Donato's family, and City of Columbus came together and they're like, let's figure this out, right? They're all South Side families, they're natives on the South Side. They saw it happening. So they got together and they're like, what can we do? They found Reeb Elementary School. It was like essentially untouched, which is crazy in Columbus because graffiti, broken windows,
There's
nonsense.
usually a lot of repairs involved
Yes,
in something like that.
exactly. Especially, I mean, South Side, we all know, like, there's a lot of breaking and entering on the South Side, still is. But when they found that building, they're like, "Oh, this has to be it." So in 2015, they came together, they raised millions of dollars, and they did the renovations, which story told to me wasn't a ton of money. They added a wing, which was most of the funds went to adding the daycare wing, and opened the building. And essentially, it's a community resource hub on the South Side centered around really not replacing the settlement house, but giving the South Side something similar to the settlement house. Um, a lot of people are very invested still. Jane and Tanny still sit on our board, so Crane Plastics and Donato's are still very involved. Oakwood Management, who was the property management company when it started, um, they still sit on our board. So people are still very excited about the work that we're doing and like the vision for Reeb.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know that gap in those years when the settlement house closed. Kind of talk about I mean, I know you weren't working at Rube at the time, but I can imagine the impact that had.
Yes. So again, my understanding, I'm a West Sider, is that a lot of industry starts to close down. So it was really factory heavy on the South Side. A lot of these factories started to migrate. And so a lot of jobs were going with that migration. So a lot of people were looking for workforce development opportunities, employment opportunities. So that was the big gap. And the survey that was done in 2014, it did show like people are looking for jobs, people are in need. So that was the main concern. And that's why when we started, it was predominantly all of our partners were workforce development. And it's kind of changed with the times post COVID, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but just really filling in the gaps on the South Side.
So Reeb is founded. Um, Talk about the services that they provide and kind of the evolution of those services over the years. Because I know what you're doing 10 years ago is very different than what you're doing now.
Yeah, so when Reeb opened, the idea was this is just going to be a hub. It's going to be very service focused. We're going to get all of these amazing partners in the space. They're going to rent out classrooms, and people will go in and just navigate those resources on their own. That's how it went for a long time. About 4 years ago, it was decided that Reeb needed staff because as a backbone agency, the need is there for us to connect people to the resources. And then if there aren't resources in the building, there are more connections to be made externally. Um, so started out with 10 service partners. A lot of them are still currently in the building. Today, I think we're at about 9 organizations, just because some organizations have multiple classrooms. Um, and then the backbone staff. So we have a whole programming staff, which is where I come in. I'm the director of programs. And then I have 3 people under me. We have a social worker, we have a community engagement coordinator, and we have an intake coordinator. So essentially, we make those connections. We build trust with people so that we can see where they're at and where they need to go, and we make those connections.
Love that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to chat with you all is because, this is all what I'm trying to do here is like focus in on community. And you guys truly are what sounds like a community hub. What does that all entail, especially on the programming side?
Yeah. So a lot of services, a lot of cool organizations. We have Boys and Girls Club. Southside is the whole second floor of our building. We have a learning center. It was formerly Sprout 5, and now it is Columbus Early Learning Center. We have food service Monday through Friday through Mid Ohio. They have a whole kitchen set up in a cafe space. We have St. Stephen's Southside location is in our building. We just got Franklin County, which is it's been such an added bonus for us. We formerly had Alvis, and we were looking to fill the space with another reentry partner. And it was tougher than I thought to find someone to come in and like want to make this their like permanent space. But Franklin County has been amazing. They have Safer Station that was formerly on Sullivan Avenue. So they do harm reduction. And then they also have reentry programming in the second classroom, which they're doing a women's group right now, which is really nice. And they'll have youth programming in June. We also have Goodwill, very fabulous program. It's like I can't speak highly enough about any of these programs. They do their STNA cohorts on the Reeb Center's campus. So they have a morning and an afternoon class, which is great. So they serve it. It was just morning classes, and then they saw the need got crazy big. They're serving people from all sides of town, honestly. So they added that evening class. And then we have Godwin Guild. They do GED, ESOL, and career bridges, which is fabulous. They communicate a lot with the other partners, so once someone's, like, through the GED program, they can connect with Elijah from Goodwill, and they can get into the SCNA program, so a lot of intercommunication amongst partners. Who am I forgetting? City of Columbus. We have the 311 officers downstairs. They have a whole office, and the Southside liaison. Catherine Cole just left, but we're gonna get a new one. It's gonna be fabulous. And then Community Development for All People actually rents the cafe space, so they do programming from time to time, and they're just down on Parsons, so it's a really nice connection. I think that's it. Was that 9?
That was a lot. So, yeah, that is a lot. Talk about I know you mentioned the need, but now that you've been working there for a while and you've seen that firsthand, kinda talk to me about your experiences there with seeing, the need for that center in the community and just the general community it creates.
Yeah, I mean, again, West Side, grew up my entire life, and I think about, like, what if there was a Reeb Center when I was growing up on the West Side? We see people from all walks of life. There is a lot of homelessness happening right now in Columbus, a lot of drug addiction, a lot of food insecurity, and those are, like, the main pillars that we're seeing, but honestly, people come in with problems from, all facets of life. And it is tough. It's tougher now, I think, post COVID, to kind of dig in and do the work because it's multi-layered. A lot of neighbors were saying they're not just homeless, they don't have IDs and birth certificates. They don't have, I mean, they don't have shoes and socks. It's like there are more barriers than just, hey, I need an apartment. Because you give that person an apartment and they're not set up for success because they don't have X, Y, and Z to sustain that apartment. Um, and I think the Reeb Center is doing a great job of supporting people and helping people and, like, really connecting them to the people they need to be connected to and following through with that. But the need is so great. There need to be 100 Reeb Centers, right? We're doing a lot of internal referrals, but there are so many external partners we work with too, because it does take that many organizations, that many programs to help one person.
When someone comes to you all or someone walks in the door and they say, "Yeah, I need help," whether it's, because of, they don't have a place to live or they are in addiction, what does that process look like? What do you guys do from there?
Yeah, so the first step, you walk in the door, you're greeted by our intake coordinator. TT, she's amazing. She'll greet you. She'll ask, like, is this your first time here? How can we help you? A lot of people do know about the lunch service, so they come in for lunch specifically. But if they mention any other need, hey, I heard you guys have a food stamp rep here. Hey, I heard you have clothing and hygiene. Then they're referred to our community engagement coordinator, Riley. So Riley is really kind of the, "Oh, if it's a quick referral, I can help you right now," or if it's a long, like, maybe it is case management, she'll refer up to Bailey, our social worker. So Riley is really boots on the ground, quick referrals, just really quick interactions, which sometimes is all people need, or maybe it's what they need in the moment and maybe they'll come back, and once they build that trust with Riley, they'll ask for more things. But if immediately Riley sees like, hey, you need way more support than I can give in this moment, then she sets up an appointment with Miss Bailey. Social worker, she's amazing. She also is a West Sider. She lives in Franklinton. She's been in social work for a really long time. She worked at Rachel's house and Lower Lights, so she has a vast array of like resources she can tap into. Um, and then from there, the case is opened and we work with people for about 4 to 6 months is our goal. And then we are hopeful we close out the case or pass them on to a case manager that's closer um, to the service that they need. So, for instance, Southeast has social workers that are really great with addiction recovery. Um, so they'll be passed on to that person and we close their case. And 10 times out of 10 times, they'll be back, they'll grab lunch, they'll say hi. If they need a hygiene kit randomly, a one-off will serve them that way. But we have so many clients that are regular, similar to the library, like so much similarity.
Yeah, and I imagine it's very rewarding for you all when you see someone come back and you see the difference they've made. How do you have any of those stories where you've seen those people come back?
Yes, absolutely. The success stories I'm thinking of right now, they actually don't come back because they're East Siders now because they got apartments, which is a huge success. Yeah, but we talk to them all the time. Um, I think what's really rewarding is seeing people's journeys. So there are so many small successes and the big successes. And that's something we talk about as a programming team because it's hard to kind of gauge or like quantify what Reeb is doing because we're a backbone. So we have these cases, we're making all these connections, but what are our actual direct services? Um, so within these major successes, it's cool to see all these small things. So for instance, this man who got an apartment, he's an East Sider now, and we're still talking to him. We're still connecting him to things. So it's like this big apartment is huge. I don't know if you know, housing is so hard right now. An apartment is a huge ordeal. But he's not done yet. And there are so many more successes coming out of that. So he has an apartment. Now he has an aide. Now he has food stamps. So it's my favorite part to see the small successes within the big ones.
Yeah, you touched on housing, and I would love to hear a lot of people I think don't they hear, like, there's a lack of housing and, I know a lot of people that go, Where?" Like, everyone I know is fine in that community, but tell me about what you see firsthand on the housing front.
Yeah, my biggest thing, and I'm not a professional in the housing space, there's a lack of affordable housing. What is affordable to one person is not affordable to someone else. I mean, I'm thinking when I first started renting an apartment, rent was $700, and I had a full-time job, and it was very manageable. Rent is now, what, 1,000 and up?
Yeah, good luck finding something under 1,200.
It's crazy, and we expect everyone to fit into this mold, and it doesn't make sense because minimum wage is what it is, and so many of our neighbors specifically work in fast food. They work in retail. So it doesn't even make sense. Like that number is impossible for them. And they are trying. And then it's such a thin line between like I have a job, I have employment, I have my ID, I have all my ducks in a row, and oh, I lost my job, I missed one paycheck, now I don't have housing. And it happens so frequently. We have people who are moving from other cities, coming to Columbus, trying to find housing. And we're like, maybe that was the bad choice for you. Like, we're buying bus tickets from our budget to send people back home because they're coming here with this notion that they'll be able to find something and they can't. It's crazy.
I can't even imagine the frustration of seeing that repeatedly firsthand with the people you work with. I wanna talk a little bit specifically about, Southside because that's exactly where you guys are based. I know you mentioned you guys serve probably people from all
Yeah.
walks of Columbus. What has the Southside been like the last looking I'm trying to think of a right way to phrase this. Like, looking ahead to the future of the Southside, what are you kind of optimistic about, but what also might concern you?
I'm optimistic about all the organizations kind of gravitating towards the South Side to support the mission. I don't know how much you know about like Reeb Avenue, but the Reeb Center is there, and then across the street, Star House is moving into the old church, which is amazing. And then Columbus Relief is right around the corner on Parsons. So we're kind of forming like a little campus. And then further down Parsons, of course, is community development for all people, open shelter, the library. Um, so the need is there, and people and organizations are coming to meet the need. So I am optimistic that if we can work together and not duplicate services and communicate, that we will be a force to be reckoned with, right? I think right now a big problem is we're resource rich and not everyone's on the same page. And this client, James, is getting service at Reeb Center and then bouncing around to all of these other nonprofits, getting very similar services, but not the services that he needs. So I'm thinking like maybe 5 to 7-ish years. There will be a boom on the South Side. There will be more affordable housing. Nationwide Children's just opened some healthy homes right across the street as well. So there is motion. Um, I think it's just gonna take a while, and I don't think everyone is on the same page about like post-COVID recovery because I know people forget COVID happened or like they don't acknowledge like how down bad we were. And a lot of people still are needing support from that.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I don't think I mean, to an extent, I realize that, but I don't think I realize the extent that you see in that post-COVID era.
Yeah, I think everything was shut down. That's something that I think goes unacknowledged.
And one fuels addiction. That is
Yes,
isolation fuels addiction.
absolutely. So many, I mean, alcoholism has skyrocketed. Like, I even think about my personal self and like the amount of drinks I was having pre-COVID and post-COVID, it's like it's a coping mechanism now. So drug addiction spiked. The amount of people like getting missed, I think, is a big part of it. So we talk about standing in the gap, and I think there was nobody to do that because we were trying to figure out how to navigate this, crisis. So people went without food stamps. People went without, rehabilitation. People went without all of these things, primary care physicians, like, and for so long, those connecting pieces were being missed, and now we're backtracking to try to pick them up, and it takes so much work. It's so easy, like, that thin line is there. It's so easy to lose all of those benefits, to get yourself in this hole, but it's so hard to get back out of it. It takes, like, a multifaceted team with, you know, the food stamps, with the housing, with the primary care physicians, with the rehabilitation, so it's not that one-on-one, it's like one on 50.
You talk about that thin line, which I think is really interesting. Do you have any, like, recent examples, and you don't have to say names, obviously, but people who have really it's been like, "I missed a paycheck, I missed the apartment," because I think people don't often realize that happens, and at the extent it happens in communities.
Yes, we have a client, we'll call her Michelle. Michelle, very, very, very on top of things, like, to the point where it's kind of annoying. Lost her job, she's working at, Famous Footwear, lost her job, missed a payment, was evicted. And so we're trying, even with rental assistance, you have to be like on the brink of eviction to even get that. And then it's a whole process. A lot of people get missed. They get evicted, they apply. It takes months to get that money.
They have no place.
They have no place to go. They're on the streets. So this person, Michelle, she's couch surfing, living with different people who it's not a healthy environment, right? She's doing what she can to get by, survival mentality. She's had multiple jobs since then, and she's still looking for a place to stay. And I think it's that I don't know, it's that struggle of I had all of these things, I was doing so well, and now I feel defeated because I did almost everything right. I missed one payment, and I think that defeat sets in, and it gets hard to get out of that. Talk about depression, talk about COVID. It's like people are beating you down and all you need is this one hand up, right? It's like, I just need $500 to get back on my feet, but I can't get that large lump sum. Even when I'm getting paychecks, it has to go to these different things. So it's hard to watch. Michelle she's very encouraged. She comes in almost every day. She gets lunch services. She has friends in the community that, she can stay with sometimes. It's just, it's hard to watch because it's just like that one thing that they need to set them up for success. And I know nonprofits talk about like no strings attached. Here's a lump sum of money. Let's see how this works. Motherful, I know is an example. They were, and I don't know if it started yet, piloting a program for moms who meet certain qualifications to get a stipend each month to see if it can help them get back on track. How long do they need the stipend? They can use it for anything, no strings attached. And I think we need more services like that, like micro grants or mini loans where people can use them just to figure things out.
How does that look, or broader picture, like, how do those funds get to you guys? What is I imagine there's several different avenues, but how does that process kinda look?
Yeah, most of our funds come from fundraising. We have an amazing one-person team, Miss Vanessa in advancement, and she does an incredible job of fundraising. We do have an endowment, but all of our programming is fundraised. So we do have a pretty tight budget, but we are trying to get into a space where we can fundraise more, or I mean, we can pull from that endowment and we can start. What does it look like to do a microloan? What does it look like to purchase these things for this person just to get them set up? Because currently we have community connections as one of our buckets in our budget, and it is by request. So if someone needs laundry detergent or a blow up mattress because they got bed bugs, or any number of things, they'll go through a process, apply for the funds, and we're able to buy those things. um, and not to say that's not enough, it is helpful, but people need more.
I would love to know about your history growing up here in Columbus. What does that look like?
Oh my goodness, no. Yeah, so born and raised in Columbus. I grew up on Clarendon Avenue for most of my childhood. Bellows before that, but I have no real memories of that. Um, Clarendon was the spot. So we did a program with Habitat for Humanity actually and put in sweat equity, and they built us a house. My mom applied to that program. Yeah, we were pretty poor. I mean, we struggled. A family of six, four kids, my mom and dad. And we used a lot of resources. So I guess when I talk about resources, I do get a little passionate because we used Habitat for Humanity. We were on food stamps. We I went
You've
to
seen the benefit.
I've seen it happening, and I've seen how kind and generous people can be, and I want to be that for people. Like, I went to preschool at Gladden, like, there's so much crossover between, like, my professional life and my personal life. So even after living on the hilltop, my mom and dad were able to purchase a house, I mean, just off of Harrisburg Pike. Nice house, no shade to the west side at all, um, but it was a step up for us, but it was looked at as, like, that's the normal thing, right? It's like, not for us. This is, like, our end all be all. This was the goal, and we made it. Um, I started working at the library at 15 through a co-wic program, so low income, students were able to apply for internships. So I started at Maine under Julie Scordato. So I was in the Homework Help Center for a bit, and from there, I continued to work in nonprofits. I still believe in nonprofits. I still believe in Columbus Rex. My kids just finished soccer for Westgate. Um, I see the power behind it, and I know that without those resources, I wouldn't be where I am. Um, I mean, we still go to the library every week, like, it is just I don't wanna say I can't separate the 2, but my life is just, like, it's about nonprofits, it's about resources, it's about giving back.
And now that you work in that space, I imagine that feeling's really rewarding.
Yeah, no, I don't wanna say the Reeb Center clients are my family, because that's cliched and that's corny, but I love all of them. I mean, we see so many people a day, and from different walks of life. Again, like, we see people that work at the middle school down the street, and they come in for lunch. We see, I mean, the people enrolled in the early learning center. That's a sliding scale, so not all of them are, like, on a payment plan. Some of them pay full price, so it's a mix of everyone, and it is just so rewarding to be a part of the community. I think growing up on the hilltop on Clarendon Avenue, we were involved in organizations, but, like, going outside was a risk, right? Like, our house got shut up, and, like, the corner store down the street got shot up, and no exaggeration, it was just dangerous, and I was a kid, so my mom was like, "No, we're not doing that." But to have a space to be safe and to be seen and to get the resources you need, whether it is just a conversation with someone or a meal or a hygiene kit, um, it is so rewarding for me. I eat the food at the cafe every day. Like, it's amazing, the team is amazing, they put together really great meals, but just sitting in the cafe and having conversations, it means so much to me, and I know it means something to the clients as well, right? It's like, we're just humans trying to live.
Do you worry about any of the cuts happening to the nonprofits here in Columbus? Because I know there are a lot of cuts trickling down.
Yes, a lot of our partner organizations have lost a good amount of people. Um, I personally am not super worried. We don't get a lot of federal funding for the Reeb Center, but I am worried for our partners. So, Huck House, Ohio History Connection, like, there have been so many cuts, that we won't be able to provide the service of referring people out to them because they don't have the teams for it anymore. And that is worrying. I think we're trying to get into a space where we can step up and step in and support as much as we need. But part of the us not having federal funding is our budget is a little smaller. So I don't know what it looks like for the future. I think Reeb is in good standing, but I do worry for our partner organizations and their staff.
Yeah, you hit on one of them now, but when you look towards the future of Columbus, we talked about Southside, but Columbus in general, what kind of excites you looking ahead, but also on that same breath concerns you?
Yeah, excitement. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff in Columbus. It's growing, which I guess it's like good and bad for me, right? I think about gentrification.
That's what I hear a lot. It's the people are like, I'm excited about the growth, but that's also my concern.
Yes, exactly. Because I mean, there's a correlation, right? Everything, all the prices are rising. This is a hot spot. We're getting more people, and it's gonna weed some people out. And I think I am still one of those people who's like paycheck to paycheck, right? Like we're a two-income household, but if something goes sideways, we're gonna be in a different position. So I do worry. I mean, AI, I'm just that's a whole different thing. But like AI, people coming here that maybe are more qualified for these jobs, or I don't they have more money, they have more resources. Am I gonna be one of the people weeded out? I hope not. Um, but in that same breath, I am still excited for that growth, right? Like Columbus is on the map. We're gonna get more things. The fruitways are gonna get better, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see. Better restaurants. I know like Columbus is like the melting pot and we have a lot of good eats and it's only getting better, right? Um, it worries me for our neighbors. For obvious reasons, right? They're the first people getting weeded out. Um, I think about Franklinton, even driving to one line today, like it's totally different from when I grew up. I went to like Franklinton Elementary and like driving down that street, it's like, this is crazy. Like things are really changing. And it's only going to get larger, right? Like it's downtown and it's just going to keep growing. Um, so good and bad. I think I don't know, maybe I'm 50-50 on excitement and, like, depression. It's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm trying to move with the flow, right, and be prepared and get my family prepared and get the people at the Reeb Center prepared, like, things are coming, we need to get our stuff together.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to look at it too, because those are probably the first people you'd see that would be impacted by any, major gentrification or something to that extent. Would be the people that are coming through your doors, specifically on the South Side.
Yeah.
Um, I have, one other question for you that I like to ask everyone, kind of changing the tune a little more, but then I'd love to hear if there's anything else you want to share. But I always like to ask people this, like favorite places to eat, drink, and hang out within Columbus.
Oof. So, I went to Agni for the first time, and it's pricey. It is extremely pricey, but it is so good. It's a whole, like, immersive experience, like, I don't know. You look at the menu, you're like, "Wait, what would I do with this? This is $200 for all of these things." And then you go through it and you're like, "Oh, okay, I understand. They know better than I do. I should have trusted them." I think South High Street is just it's becoming one of my favorite places because there's kind of some parking. And they have Cobra and Victories and Antiques on High and
That's
Agni.
Oh my gosh, Cobra, big fan of
I
Cobra.
know, it's so good, right?
I would love to get the owners of one of the owners on here because
Yes.
big fan of their
They know
food.
what they're doing. Um So those are I mean, South High, has a special place in my heart, but West Side specials, there's a food truck. It's called New York Halal. It's on Sullivan in the Marathon parking lot. It's great. Get a combo platter, with goat and chicken, spicy. It's amazing. West Side Slice, another favorite. It's a pizza spot on Demarest. Um, I can't think of any other one. Oh, Bottoms Up for coffee. I should've I no shade to One Line. I didn't know you were close to Bottoms Up too, and I love a oatmeal nut bar from Bottoms Up.
Oh yeah, their homemade Pop Tarts too.
Oh, good. I know, and they play good music. They had a DJ one weekend. It was fabulous.
They got a little bit of everything there. I'm a big fan. Um, I appreciate it. Anything else you wanna add? Any plugs for the Reeb Center? Anything on that front?
Thanks. Come check us out. I don't know. There's a lot to be seen. If you wanna partner, anyone wanna partner with the Reeb Center, hit me up. We do have, like, a rentable space, the gym, and we welcome, all types of programs. I think Kappa's gonna do a program for adults, soon, and I don't know, hit her event page up, come see us. That's really it. Oh, and if you're moving to the South Side, You have to come see us. It's not an option. You have to come see us. Yes, you have to come check us out. Tell us what you're going to be doing on the South Side. That's it. I don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Chelsea, thanks so much.
Thanks, Connor.